Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's sketch video, we're going to be using another reverse confetti sketch, and it's going to be number 53. And just pause the video here if you want to get the measurements that are written on the actual image. You can just pause here, write everything down or pre-cut, and then you can join me in putting the card together. So here I got everything cut out, and I used the stamp set that came in the kit for July. So it says Happy Summer, and we have the watermelon wedge and the ants, which are super cute. So for the base paper, I measured it at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And for some reason, it did hang off just a little bit on each side. If you have a problem with it, just trim the little bit off and you should be okay. And for me, I was okay until after I cut, then it was like bright white on the edge. So I did take some of the Vintage Photo oxide inks because they're right here next to me, and I went around the edge just so that way it wasn't so stark white on the sides on the outside. So we're going to do the same thing with the second one. Now this one lined up a little bit better on the sides, but on the top part there was a little bit hanging over. So I just trimmed that up and then hit it with the ink tool. Now what I decided to do for these, I'm going to show you guys, because we always talk about matting the different pieces to, do you matte, do you not matte? So I wanted to show you each of these cards, one with a matte and one without, okay? So once we get the base on, I did the bases the same way. And then you're going to see here, I'm just going to attach the decorative pieces and our little sentiment, and that'll be it for this one as far as putting it all together. And I thought using the watermelon paper and then with the green as the accent was super cute to go with the watermelon. Hello? I just think it was so cute. So once we get that, I'm looking for some of my fun foam that I have in my stash, and I put it down, and on the other side there is adhesive already on the fun foam. So that makes it nice and easy for attaching. Now, for the second card, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch on all my measurements for the mat. Normally I do 1/8 of an inch, but I decided to do the 1/4 of an inch just so you could see, you know, with a little bit more border, it does take up more space, but it's still a nice image, you know what I mean? And for whatever reason there, I mismeasured. Um, it was, I think the thin strip is 3/4 by 3 7/8. So I wound up cutting it at 1 inch by 4 1/8. So that way I would have a 1/4 inch around all four sides. And then we're going to attach all of our pieces to the mats. And the one thing I like about the art glitter glue using it is that it does dry clear, but if you wipe it off right away, it's not bad. Now, on that particular piece I just had in my hand, I wind up putting the glue on top of the paper that I wanted to use. So, taking this opportunity, I was like, you know what? I'm going to cut it again, but I'm going to cut it so that instead of it going horizontal, the stripe is going to go long ways. So it's still the same paper, it's just the stripes are in a different direction. Now here with the mats, I'm going to go ahead and attach these. Now as I start to add some of my pieces, I realize the thicker it gets, the more it's going to be uneven. So I take the foam tape and I'm just adding it to the sections that are going to need it, the parts that are going to be lifting up. And then I'm going to leave the center part kind of empty just so that it'll just attach to the watermelons in the center. And then we're going to trim a piece down of the foam for the focal image. Once again, putting that down and then just using the adhesive side that's already pre-adhesive on the foam tape. And in here on the top there and right underneath the strip, it just needed a few more pieces so that way it would lay even and not feel like it's going to kind of like topple over, not topple over, but it makes it even. Then I went into my stash and I got me a Spectrum Noir glitter. I think this was one of the glitter markers. And then I took one of the Nuvo. Which ones are these? Yeah, the Tonic Studios. These are the markers that were sent to me by Scrapbooking with Me. If I can remember and find the video where I did review them, I just grabbed one of the greens and did the rind in the darker green, and then there was a little bit of a smudge, so I'm taking a white gel pen trying to cover up some of that pink that got onto the white part of the rind. And I'm just trying to get the white ink moving because I don't use my gel, my rolly, I think it's my roll, gel roll, and then I have the Signo white gel pen, and when you don't use them that often, sometimes it takes a little bit to get them working again. And then I'm just going to use the green Nuvo drops just to give it a little bit of something. And I always like to tap them because I want them to go flat like enamel dots. And it also, I think it helps when uh, you flatten them, it helps them to dry quicker. So here are the close-ups. So you can see the difference between the mattes and the no matte. And the no matte is fine, but I think when it comes to like certain patterns and to separate your papers, using the mattes help provide that definition. So that's why I like using them. And I think if you're not a person who normally mats, if you start doing it, you'll see a difference even in like the card quality, the weight of it. I really like how it turns out. So thank you guys for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Down below, I will have a link to the July kit if there's any available. I think the last time I checked there was. But if you go on there and you use my code TT15, you can get an additional 15% off. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great weekend.